From now on, my full-time job is finding a guy who's going to take care of me.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the MST channel. As promised, I am back with Chapter 7. Chapter 7: How to Seduce the Whole Way. Spartans interview men intensely because the objective is to make sure he's honest and trustworthy enough to be a boyfriend or potential husband. Hoes substitute the interview process with the seducing stage because they know the way to a man's wallet starts with his dick. His life story and past relationships don't matter when you're trying to hustle a man because you're not looking to bond on a real level. All a hoe needs to know is if he's paid, how paid, and how generous he is willing to be with that money. Once you establish that you have a guy who is willing to treat you to nice things, you would dig the hooks in deeper by using what a man wants most against him: sex. A hoe's job is to be a fantasy woman, a woman that listens, isn't judgmental, never stresses for time or attention, and most importantly, knows how to be a filthy whore. I remind you that these are the non sex tactics. So, if the way you've been taught to seduce is by letting him stick the tip in, you're going to need to throw that game plan out. You're about to learn to become a master of making a man come without using your pussy. Seducing is the progression of flirting. Yet, girls who are good flirts often freeze when it's time to really get down and dirty. Earlier, I spoke of the first date as being one where you hook him with a shot of your personality, which isn't about I went to this university, I'm starting this business, and I traveled to this city last summer. Personality has nothing to do with random facts about your life. To make a man see you as sexy, desirable, and indispensable, you have to show him that you are a good time. What makes you funny? What makes you edgy? What makes you nasty? What makes you different? Answer that in your head. Now, look back on the last time you were on a first date and think about how you brought out those four things. Most of you can't answer the question or aren't sure, but the truth is, in the results, men aren't impressed with you, nor do they see you the same way you see yourself in your head. My personality is dope. No, it's dry. You don't project anything special. Thus, you don't separate yourself from the pack. The last first date I went on was with a very corny woman. Here's what made her corny. During that dinner, she didn't say anything provocative or interesting. She just laughed at my jokes and played coy. When I made a perverted comment in the movie theater, I got my feels on, but she kept her hands to herself, not because she wasn't into me, but because she was afraid. After the date, I took her back to my apartment and proceeded to gas her up about how fun it was spending time with her. Lie, how sexy she looked. She was very pretty, but not that pretty. And how I didn't want to leave her. Truth. And how I didn't want her to leave. Truth. After about 40 minutes, I had her bra off and my hands down her pants. She stopped me and told me she had to go before she made a mistake. I tried to go back to sweet talking her into staying, but her but to her credit, she didn't give in. Although I wasn't impressed by her personality, I was excited by the prospect of having sex with her after seeing her half naked. The next weekend, I skipped the going out to eat stuff because why waste my time when all I was doing was talking to myself? I got her right back over where we left off. A week of talking on the phone, flirting and gassing her up, had won her over and she was willing to go all the way this time. I got head, I got X with her, and promptly got head one last time before telling her I was about to go to sleep, aka she had to go. Asshole move. But this is how most men operate when they come across a cute girl who isn't exactly intriguing. The average woman is unsure of herself when on a date with a guy she likes, which leads to awkward behavior and a corny vibe. Men don't want to hang with a cornball, no matter how fat her ass is or how big her breasts are. Think if you do these things. Counter conversation. Wait for him to talk Wait for him to talk, and you simply respond to his question with the answer and a dry follow up about the same subject, never sparking your own topic. Overlaugh. You don't have anything to add to what he's saying, but don't want to be quiet, so you laugh harder than normal or giggle when nothing's that funny. Walk on eggshells. You don't want to say anything to offend this man, so you keep the conversation safe and inoffensive. It's like putting someone whose best jokes are about homosexuals in a gay bar. They don't want to offend, so they tone way down. Don't don't rate me body language. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that word. So don't army body language. You don't point your body towards him or inch close when walking at dinner. You sit across, not next to him. Walk into the car with him, you keep your distance. These things are understandable when you're not familiar with a person, but this isn't modesty tactics to get a man to see you as a sweet woman. This is hoe tactics to eat these men alive. Hoes get real comfortable real fast, and because it's such a different way for a woman to act on a date, men are taken off guard and easily impressed. But GL, I can't help being nervous on dates. How can I hoe up when I'm naturally shy and reserved? You have the ability to get comfortable around any man because you've done this step before without knowing it. Most women have agreed to date a guy. Most women have agreed to date with a guy they didn't really like. And I wager you're in that boat. Some dude gave chase and you saw him as okay, but you were bored, so you agreed to go out because you had nothing to lose. You were accidentally hoeing. Selling your company for a date with no intention of ever doing anything else is something that all girls do. Free dinner or movie with a man that doesn't look like your type, act like your type, or has a shot at winning you over. That's a mini hoe tactic done out of boredom. Back to being comfortable and embracing that exciting hoe personality. On a date with Mr. Not My Type, you didn't give a F, so there was no counter conversation. You said whatever as if he were a girlfriend. There was no overlaugh because you didn't want him to think you liked him by overlaughing. You didn't walk on eggshells because this guy was more like the buddy than Prince Charming. As for body language, you probably kept your distance, but I'm sure you were relaxed, not bashful in regards to how close you got to him. That man wasn't a threat, so you didn't act awkward. You projected your true personality. Dope chick. In response, you weren't seen as corny. You were seen as the fun, slightly goofy girl with good conversational skills. That clown is probably still trying to take you out again because you impressed him. Your mission is to be that comfortable with men who are winners. For example, let's go visit our friend Maria, the hoe on her series of dates in which she seduces a mark. The first date is one she allowed him to select, and it's the Cheesecake Factory, a nice, inexpensive place that literally has food from every damn country on their menu. Maria doesn't usually do dinner there like most smart hoes comes to hang by the bar after the businessmen get off work because sitting down with a girlfriend and splitting an order of Buffalo Blast doesn't leave her room to flirt with a man like like standing at the bar surrounded by stressed stockbrokers will. They get a booth in the back, and Maria takes a seat across from the mark. She orders water, not liquor, because she has to be in tune tonight, not tuned up. Immediately, Maria pouts. You're going to leave me all alone over here? The mark is taken aback. He doesn't know this girl like that, yet she wants him to sit right next to her. Of course, he rushes over and rearranges the silverware on her side of the table. Maria now wants to reward him by squeezing his arm with a hug, as if she's super excited to be with him. The waiter comes over and asks about food. Maria begins to joke with the waiter about how the mart didn't stand. The waiter comes over and asks about food. Maria begins to joke with the waiter about how the mark couldn't stand not being close. The waiter, like anyone who wants a tip, plays along and adds on his own compliment about Maria being pretty. Maria continues to sass the waiter in a non bitchy or demeaning way, maybe saying that the mart doesn't think she's that pretty. She had to beg for a date, etc. Self deprecation leads to compliments. That's human psychology 101. Of course, this attention whoring technique puts the mark on the spot in front of another man, and he must keep up with her wits by firing back his own teases and jokes. Less than 10 minutes into the date, and the ice has been broken. The mark is now having fun and thinks Maria is a wild child. When when it's time to be serious and order, Maria lays her head on the mark's shoulder, fake flustered. Will you order for me anything but red meat? The mark may not know how to react if he's not a decisive man, but Maria will urge him to order something that tastes as good as an orgasm. This shit is even making the waiter blush, and the mark sees that he's gotten a hold of something special. Throughout the date, Maria keeps it playful and flirty. She touches him sporadically, makes inappropriate jokes about people that walk by, and delves into his business and talks about what she knows about the industry as a light test. When he makes a corny joke, she doesn't mind saying womp womp, but follows it up with one of her own corny jokes to show that she's on his side, but not a yes woman that giggles by default. The Mark likes her, and more importantly, he's having a good time. When the check comes, Maria grabs it first. If I look good, if I look, it means I have to pay it, right? The Mark may play along, but isn't serious about her paying. The Mark pays, but Maria asks how much tip she should give their waiter friend. If the Mark tells her not to worry, it's a good sign. If he tells her the amount and makes her go in her purse, it could mean he's not a spender. It's only the first date, so she can let something as petty as asking her to put up the tip slide. But all of his actions will be inventoried for later analysis. After the date, Maria holds his hand as they exit and thanks him for taking her out and ordering the right type of meal. The Mark is going to be enamored by this time, and the night's still young. Maria now tests him about where he lives. She jokes that they're going to grab coffee at Casa de la Boquete. The Mark will be excited that he may the first night, but play it cool with if you feel like it. Nevertheless, Maria was checking for an excuse such as, oh damn, my cousin is staying over tonight. That response would tell her that he's full of shit about where he lives or that he has a wife or girlfriend staying there that he hasn't been honest enough to talk about yet. In our example, the Mark invites Maria back, proving he's not lying, but she plays it off as kidding, adding that it takes a while before she has coffee with new men. Striptease bitches. After Maria is dropped off, she'll end the night with a kiss. No tongue, just a sweet kiss followed by a slight suck on his bottom lip as she pulls herself away with those piercing I would fuck you like it was our last night on Titanic eyes. The Mark is riding high, and most likely Maria will get a text from him when he gets home. She is not his text buddy, so she will respond with a brief follow up. It was great. Can't wait to see you again soon. Good night, baby. Now this man is reach now this man is reacting as if he's just hit a home run. Damn, this bitch is calling me baby already. I'm in there. He's not in anywhere, but Maria is all in the Mark's head. Her shot of personality even had the waiter wanting to fuck her. And now it's time to unload on the second date with her true hostess to make sure she's not wasting her time with a dude that can only afford Cheesecake Factory. The kill shot. Maria now has the power. Further dating is not about when a mark is free. It's when she is free because a man who wants new pussy will arrange his schedule to get it. Maria is a seasoned hoe tactician, so while she's spoken to the mark over the past week, it's been late at night. short and full of flirting. She hasn't given him phone sex and hasn't sent one nude or semi nude picture, hasn't allowed herself to fit into his schedule either. Guys will do things like call when they get off work, pop up wanting to grab dinner, or lure a girl to the house with a home cooked meal. Maria is educated in the ways of horny men since she isn't thirsty for love. She plays it cool when he tries to be spontaneous and catch her off guard with bullshit dates or chill sessions. Maria will only go on that next date when she decides to, which assures her that he will do what she wants to do once she finally frees up her imaginary schedule. The Mark gets excuses for a few days and then finally gets an opportunity to see her again a week later. Maria wants to go hear a singer at the House of Blues on Saturday. The Mark wants to take her to this hookah lounge around the way. Maria isn't a hookah hoe, and she doesn't need to be in a room full of locals who only go to the hookah spot. She demands live entertainment and a chance to dress sexy. The Mark agrees because if he doesn't play ball, Maria won't ask again, and his window for new pussy will close. This fair led to do what she says is a result of Maria using excuses to make her time seem valuable. The game isn't to chase men with money, it's to make them feel powerless. Maria and the Mark show up at the House of Blues. She was hot on the last date, and she was hot on the last date. This time, she's sorry guys. Maria and the Mark show up at the House of Blues. She was hot on the last date. This time, she's show stopping. Hair in an updo, face made up tastefully, her dress showing her curves and heels fresh out of the box. She's impressive and she knows it. Therefore, he knows it. More importantly, he will remember her luxury style and feed into it. This time, Maria orders for them. She wants to drink tonight, only and she only drinks vintage Chardonnay. She wants some food in her stomach, and she's going to get a sample of a few appetizers as opposed to a big meal. She's even touchier this time around. The conversation is more comfortable as well because they know more about each other. Maria can bring up things that happened during the week, how happy she is to finally see him again, and even say that she had a dream about him. Isn't that crazy? This is all done to break the next level of ice and play into their chemistry. Maria isn't his girlfriend, but it feels like it because she's easy to talk to, doesn't mind letting him touch her. The music starts and Maria sways in her seat, not looking at the singer, but looking at the Mark. She's singing and directing her affection to him. As the night progresses, Maria's dancing in front of the table. It's a public place, but it's a private dance for her man. She's well aware that other men and women are watching her, but she's not shy. She's embracing her sexiness. If there's room for movement, maybe Maria pulls the mark up to the dance with him and quickly rubs her ass against him, which is the ultimate physical seduction. By the end of the night, Maria has run up a bill of 2 bottles of wine and food she didn't eat just to test him. The new Mark happily pays because he thinks he's going to fuck in a few hours. Maria and the Mark go back to the car. She initiates the kissing, and this time it's all tongue. She even strokes the bulge in his pants and moans, "You just do something to me, baby. I can't explain it. This guy is ready to drive her back to the spot and bust it all the way open." Maria tells him that she should go home. She's been drinking and doesn't want to bring out her inner Yonsei before he's ready. She shifts it on him not to being ready. More so than her, because this offends a guy and challenges his manhood in a way that spells out that she's not afraid of dick or celibate. They joke about sex, and all Maria says is, "We're going to see how you take your coffee soon enough, baby." However, she turns serious and says she should get home. The Mark is worked up, but Maria has shown that she's not an easy lay. The Mark is headed home to take a cold shower full of disappointment, but there's also hope. He spent money, but at each turn, Maria has rewarded him by intensifying her seduction, which means he has no reason not to keep dating her. Their next time out will be D Day. He can feel it in his bones. 2 dates down, Maria has touched him, kissed him, rubbed on him, and gave him an IOU on the ussy. No matter how smart this Mark is, he knows that these actions lead to X. It always does. All he has to do is stay on task and keep her happy. Entering the next week between the second and third date, Maria rewards him with Phone X for the first time. The day after Phone X, she drops the headphone test on him. Phone X would be a lot hotter if she had good earphones for her iPhone. Using the thought of X, she then asked if he could grab a pair for her before they meet up on the next date. Of course he does, and when Maria sees that she got a pair of brand new Beat earbuds, not the generics or his old used ones, she recognizes that this dude isn't a waste of time. He doesn't mind tricking, so now begins her next step of becoming invaluable to this man so she can dig in his pockets for what she actually needs. If you guys are enjoying this, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment, okay? And hit the subscribe button, guys. Maria took all those basic flirting skills to the next level, from the personal space to the voice inflection. She upped the ante and used her sex appeal to excite him. At the same time, she used compliments like baby to endear herself to him. The most impressive thing was that Maria was able to be sassy and fun in a way that put him at ease and made her seem cool, not corny. If Maria were a nervous chick or one who thought turning a man on was all about saying a bunch of nasty things, she would have failed. Maria played by her rules but made him think it was his rules. The first date set the pace as she submitted to him and let him be a man by picking the place and ordering her food. The second date, she pouted and asked about she pouted and asked to be taken to a better place. Then took it upon herself to get whatever she wanted right under his nose as if it's just how she rolls. The Mark sees Maria as new Usi, but also sees her as interesting. That, above the potential feeling of a new nut, is what had him running to Target to grab a pair of $100 headphones. Understand that seducing a man isn't just about X, it's about making him feel young and carefree. A mark with money can pay for an escort. He can go jerk off to a cam girl. He can go butter up an X. It's not about X. Maria is making herself the best part of his week by being a good time girl. At the same time, she's still testing his pockets at each step. She's taking mental notes about his attitude and actions. There are men who would have complained about the cost of the show, the wine, and the food, which probably cost well over $200. If a man doesn't have that to spend on a second date with a girl that's impressed him, made out with him, and who walks out of the house dressed like her ussy is worth $1 million, then he's a window shopper that must be dropped immediately after he complains about money or the price of something. Maria's Mark went with the flow and had a good time because anything worth doing is worth paying for if you have it to spend. Guys with money don't mind paying for a good time, even if it doesn't end with them dipping their in something at the end of the night. If a man does start to keep track of what he's spending, consider that a sign that he may not be holding as much in his bank account as he acts. It's okay to choose wrong. Men are good liars, and your intel may have been wrong. This is why you search for him with this is why you research him with 3 dates to be sure that he has money and has it to spend. Maria put in a good amount of work building up to the third date, and it would suck to have to start over. But she's not lazy. She can do it again with a new mark the next week. If this mark would have reacted by not showing up with the headphones or by pressing her for X because he's tired of being patient, then she would have lost his number at the end of the date. Never feel as if your seduction skills must be rewarded. That's ego. If he doesn't respond, it doesn't mean you're a bad seductress. He's probably a cheap bastard, so cut him off and go hunt for a new trick. Alright, guys, so that is half of chapter 7. I'm going to be uploading the other half at a later date. I'll keep you guys posted in the community section. All right, subscribe and comment if you want chapter 7 part 2. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys learned something. I'm definitely learning as I read this because I have not read the book fully, so I'm learning as well with you, my viewers. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.